I got in trouble with God recently, and it was my own fault. But in the process, he taught me some very subtle things, and then he showed me them in the scriptures. And this is the subtle work, guys. This is not like your baby Christian stuff. This is for you that are a little bit further along in the walk. Try not to get triggered. We're going to talk about extreme obedience. When he tells you to watch out for something, when he tells you to not do something or be aware of something or to do something, you need to listen. And the reason you're delayed in a lot of things in life is because you've been kind of ignoring those little warnings because you think they're not a big deal. But those little warnings are actually probably what's keeping you from entering the promise that he gave you and the promises that he's given us, all of us. So collectively, we're not entering his promise, which is kingdom, right? And individually, you're not entering certain promises because you're being wishy-washy with your obedience. I know Christian church doesn't want to hear this, but I'm going to tell you, it is so subtle what he taught me that it's kind of shaken me up a bit because I've realized how much I've missed out on in life because of my wishy-washiness in certain matters. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. I'm going to give you kind of an overview about what happened for me. I was given a promise many years ago. It was confirmed multiple times. I have spent many years in the wilderness on this promise, wandering and looping around the wilderness. And I did get mad at God. I did get angry. I did get bitter. I did go through some phases and seasons with it. I don't mind admitting it to you. Because you know what I always say, guys? If you see somebody on the internet and they pretend that they never make a mistake and they are teaching biblical things and they are playing perfect all the time, they're not being real with you. And those are the people that you're going to find out years and years ago that they had some sin lurking behind the scenes because they were always hiding behind a mask. They could never be real and honest with you, because they couldn't be real and honest with themselves. When you see somebody owning up to their mistakes, guess what that shows you? They're able to be honest with themselves, that they do fall short, that they are still learning, and that they are still growing. Be careful of the people that are always perfect. Back to my story. So I had this promise on the horizon, walking towards it. But as I was walking towards it, I was kind of looking at doing things in my own strength in different ways, always kind of looking like, well, maybe I should be doing this, or maybe I should be doing that, instead of staying laser focused on the promise and walking boldly in that direction with my prayer life, with my beliefs, with what I was entertaining in my life. All of those things, every time that I would get distracted to the right or to the left, it was having me go off path and thus keeping me in the wilderness longer. So in the Exodus, the people go into the wilderness. It takes them way longer in the wilderness than it should have because of their unbelief, because they weren't believing what God said, because they weren't walking in authority. All of these things added up, and that caused them to keep having to wander in the wilderness because they couldn't enter the promised land in the condition that they were in. At one point in this journey, God gave me a dream. I was on this boat, and this boat was going in the direction that it was supposed to go. Every time I got distracted on this boat and someone came in and distracted me, the boat would start to spin off course. This was a warning dream to me, and I understood it exactly. But did I take heed at that point and really double down and focusing on the promise and not? No, because I was insecure, and I was in my flesh. I was worried about the things of the flesh. I still made mistakes after that point. It added multiple years of delay and frustration and struggle into my life because of this. So use me as the example. Do not do as I do. Do as I've learned better to not do. Sometimes you're doing this because you're not really truly trusting God's word. You haven't built up that reliance on him yet. Sometimes you're off looking at other things because you have these patterns in your life, these strongholds in your life that are still operating. And that's what's causing you to kind of go off path all the time. But it is causing your delay. If you can focus in and you can really lock in on what he's promised you, you can stay the course and stay directly focused on that. Do not even look at any other options than what he's told you, what he's promised. And this goes for promises in his word, and it goes for promises that maybe have been revealed to you personally. You need to blinders on your eyes, lock in, stand in faith. I know it is so hard, especially if it's something that's a deep desire for you. I get it. Obviously, I've been there. As I was talking to God about this and asking him to clear this confusion, I was having chronic confusion on this issue. I had to do drastic things to break through the confusion because I had planted seeds of confusion. Of my own accord, I had accepted confusion into the situation, and I had planted seeds of confusion by not being laser focused. As I prayed to clear this confusion, he showed me Moses in the Exodus, and he showed me this in the scriptures. There was 2 times that Moses was instructed to bring forth water from a rock. The first time he was commanded by God to hit the rock and the water would come out. It was all good. Water came out. The second time, so this was earlier in their journey as he was a bit new to leadership. As he's later in his journey, as they're going to enter the promised land, Moses also hears from God and he says, speak to the rock and the water will come out. Well, Moses, because the water came out before, by hitting the rock, Moses went on his own strength, went on his own understanding, and through frustration hit the rock again, even though God said speak to it. And the water came out, but Moses, because of that, doesn't get to enter the land. And this was heavy on me. This is what Father showed me. When we don't listen to him and when we're not obedient, we don't know the ripple effect of that. We don't know what we're causing to happen. Maybe there's something very specific that Father wanted to reveal to someone. Maybe there's a testimony that was meant to happen. It didn't get to happen because you were disobedient in this small way or that small way. Every time that we manipulate and are just a little bit disobedient or just a little bit off course, we are not walking in full faith. Our trajectory of the course that we're on is just a little bit off. If you're course correcting, you're just a little bit off, you're 1 degree off, you're going in the wrong direction for a long time. That's going to keep you in the woods. You know what I'm saying? So you need to make sure that you're boldly obedient to anything that he's asked you to do. If there is a promise in your life or there's something in your life that's stuck, do something boldly and clearly obedient today. Whether it be a commandment from the word or whether it be something personal that he's instructed you to do or something he's instructed you to cut off and cut out of your life, be boldly obedient to that today. Go do it right now. If you're a woman who wants to study with me, I have a program coming. I want you to go onto my profile and do the first little linky poo there and download that free download. And that will get you on the list to come do an extra special study time with me. Okay, so let's be friends.